Good evening all. This is my last ITSL League game organised by Basque Mex. Playing haakonaugustus, last divisional game, 20th game. He's okay with recording, which is great, and you'll be pleased to know there will be fewer drop frames because I have a new laptop. Hooray, hurrah! And I've also been dealt probably the best opening hand for USA that I've had in all 20 games in ITSL, because I've got 3 of the 5 4-op cards, including Purge. I've got D-Style, so I'm in decent shape. If I don't get blockaded, I can hold D-Style. So it's looking good, and I have sufficiently greedy ops that I can purge as well. Even if I purge, I've got, 4, 6, 9, 13, 15 clean ops, as well as a space in socialist governments. So we will open 4-4-2, and we will purge our opponent. (4-4-2). Don't need to worry about socialist governments. 4-3-3 is another option, but with purge and a counter coup, I'm happy with 4-4-2. Don't want to give the impression. So we will go RUSP. And I'll just check my settings. Settings aren't in here. Forget it. I think it's going to do all sorts of weird stuff like animations and things, but it's disappointing that I have, for some reason, got a reboot of my usual cleaner settings. Anyway, Purge is good. We've got a 90-minute game, so if I put up with animations, so be it. What do we get? Arab-Israeli war, the bids to try and clean me out of that side of the Middle East. It fails. We're off to the races. So they're going in with a coup, which will be Iran, I think. Yeah. It is not successful. We will apply maximum pressure? We've got the ops to do it, and we've got a 4-op card to boot. Let's put some pressure on in the Middle East. Now, if the Iran coup fails again, the best thing to do is to shore it up, take Thailand, and just give some mil-ops up. But I'm happy enough doing that. I'm happy to give up 2 mil-ops to entrench Asia and the Middle East and probably get ahead in Europe. We need to worry about decolonization and Vietnam results. Mostly decol, obviously. Yeah, going in instead with Suez. So we can use independent Reds into Jordan to threaten the realign on Iraq and also to claim domination. Now Hawken in response might move into Saudi Arabia. If he doesn't, I may. Getting a 3-1 realign on Iraq would be lovely. Although I'd like ops to take France and Thailand as well. So he's going to have another dig at Iran. Is successful this time, but we can counter coup, and with a 3-op card we can still take, even after decolonization, we can take Thailand. So we will counter coup with NATO and hope not to roll a 1. 3 or higher. Perfect. So we get our Milops, and we're now holding the China card. So if decolonization drops, we take Thailand. We'll put 3 in there anyway. So gambling. If he misses, we take it. Ouch. It's all going wrong. That's why you don't have any Korean War. It's a 50-50 offering. So our biggest threat on the board at the moment is de Gaulle taking France before we have a chance to take it. And holding the China card, we can now hold D-style through to turn 3. So we get Middle East domination, which is a bonus. We'll put 3 into Thailand. And if we get blockaded, we'll give up D-style, obviously. And then we'll just finish by spacing Sotgov and hope to get off first. Ooh, I forgot I bought a Haribo. Bonus! Thank you! See, this is what happens when I'm in fugue states in stores. It had new, different colour ones. I don't know if it's like natural food colouring or if they've... They've changed, like the dinosaurs are green. That's an ice cream cone even. Milk bottles though. I run hot and cold on the milk bottles. So we'll see how Håkon finishes out the turn here. It's not looking rosy. So UNI, CIA, doesn't have any influence in the early war region. Should have just played it. That's unfortunate. Yes, we're giving up Pakistan at the moment, but we'll space away socialist governments. And we get off the space as well. Not a bad term. So yeah, that's a flub. With no influence anywhere, because Fidel's not invented. Should have just invented CIA. Unfortunate. Right, we got de Gaulle, so we're sitting pretty. And we can lead with defectors, because... Well, worst case scenario, we defect Asia scoring. What has he got that can cause trouble? I've got de Gaulle in the Cambridge 5. Could have blockade. I've got NASA. Olympic Games, Nazi Europe. Yeah, I don't know. Duck and cover. Asia scoring. I think we're still going to defect, but we're going to accept the fact that he might bink off one of our good cards. No, we get decol. We get the gold standard. That's why you never headline decol. So, we're unlikely to get Asia domination here. So, always nice to talk shop with the opponent while you're playing. So yeah, as a rough rule of thumb, it's worth knowing is USSR. If you get to the turn 2 headline, you look at your hand. If you don't hold defectors, the USA is roughly 50-50 to hold it based on the number of unseen cards. Things affect that, like playing the China card or not, but it's a decent rule of thumb. So that headline there was 50-50 to go off. So, Bit of a bummer for them, but c'est la vie. Now, if they get a coup off, I'm relatively content with that, right? Middle East is scored. So if the coup goes off, I'm inclined to use the China card to take Afghanistan and Pakistan, making it a 6 bomb if they're holding Indo-Pakistani war, which they're 50-50 too. And that will entrench Asia domination, obviously. And then I'll seek to race up Europe domination with De Gaulle. They're going for influence. So they're taking Pakistan, which is wise. So I'm going to offer a coup and start to run up France. Obviously I have China card as well to help with that. But I want to take Europe domination so I can then play Cambridge 5 without penalty. Obviously if they start moving into India and threatening domination, I just start running up the one up Southeast Asian region. So I'm unlikely to be dominated in Asia. And if we see Indo-Pakistani war guy, I could even flip Pakistan for Dom. So I've got options, and I've got outs. I mean, Hawkon's the one on the back foot. So is he going to ops war in France? No, he's going to go India. So we will dominate... Whoa, 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 whoa. I don't want a coup. I'm afraid the new laptop has different mouse sensitivity functions, which I'm still coming to terms with. So dominate Europe, undominate Asia. He gives up on Asia, which is great. Unfortunately, we don't really have any great coup targets. And we want to use... Although, alright, what we're going to do is we're going to event Nasser and then coup with it. To drop DEFCON, get Nasser out of the deck, and hope for a 1 in 3 chance of cleaning him out. Oh, great. It all goes well. When you're running good, you're running good. So now we're hoping to dominate Asia, dominate Europe, and score Dom. The only way that's unlikely to happen is if they break West Germany or France. Obviously, the Cambridge 5 is still unusable, which is a bit frustrating. Would have liked to have done it sooner. But now it's forcing him to play a war card, and what's he got left? Indo-Pakistani war's the only one? Korea and Arab-Israeli have gone. So if Europe doesn't get broken right now, we'll claim Europe domination. I'm hoping they'll just punt something off to space. That would be fine for us to be able to maintain our tempo with impunity. And we've still got cards like Marshall Plan, Duck and Cover, 5-year plan, NORAD. Got a host of cards that could, in theory, be spaceable. Or even a blockade. I will chuck D-Style to it in order to get Europe domination. So Decol, having been defected, leaves Africa more open. Holding D-Style, if I can, through turn 3 means South America becomes a race for Junta. Hawkon has a bit to cogitate here, but the rule usually is attack the unscored region, so you should be tapping France or West Germany. I'm prepared to give up the China card to overprotect both and claim domination. Not happy to. I'd rather keep the China card, but I'm prepared to. saw Comic-Con go, didn't we? I've not been tracking the cards properly. Comic-Con Age of Square and Warsaw Pact. I played De Gaulle. So we haven't seen Blockade, Romania, Fidel, Vietnam. Neutral cards into Pakistani War. India is quite juicy there. And then it's all American. Yeah, tough. Very tough. So, eventing Marshall Plan and trying to deny domination that way. A bold gambit. So now we're all overprotected. We will use the China card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 4. Can't tap any of those regions. So we'll put the other 2 in Libya. So that means with Nasser gone, it's a lot harder for them to get into the West Middle East. We just have to be cognizant of the fact that Vietnam revolts gives them some access into Southeast Asia, but we want to try and snag those Southeast Asian states before they do. Especially Indonesia as the other one-stab one. So yeah, not happy giving up the China card there, but I want domination. It's not worth giving up on domination to retain the China card. It's a bit early in the game for that. They need another 4-up card to break Greece and the UK to prevent domination in Europe, which I just don't think is happening. And or put 2 into a battleground. And all the time they're doing that, they're not developing their board presence. So I'm fine with that in terms of tempo. We may still have time if we're lucky to dominate Asia using Formosa, but that's a bit of a reach. Yeah, there's passion fruit juice and mango in these. I thought the orange ones tasted not very orangey. Weird. Yeah, this YouTube feed is now separately me eating Haribo and talking about it and playing Twilight Struggle right. So spacing NORAD obviously is a fine thing to do as USSR, and I will now drop Europe for domination. So they were just unfortunate that they couldn't do all things. So without a war card, I'm going to be going into the next turn at +9. France is unflippable now that de Gaulle's gone. Using Suez doesn't do enough to get a 4-op card to flip it. Vietnam revolts, gets Thailand up to 3-3 with the China card, so I can defend that. So it's looking alright. I'd be hoping to get into a Pakistani war and hoping for a jammy flip of India. So 2 cards left in hand. Containment's one of them, so I get some extra clean ops as well. Fine to move around like that, and I now get 3 ops for my money with the Cambridge 5, which is great. What am I inclined to do with them? Move into Costa Rica, reinforce Panama, and take Indonesia to defend against country count. That's the end of turn. I bag another mill-op. Go on to Ike. Let's get busy. I do get into Pakistani war. It is by far the best headline without special relationship. 5-year plan, doesn't want to pull duck and cover. I can UN intervention. I'm still waiting on blockade. So let's see what they've got. Let's do it that way. They've got blockade and Romanian abdication. They've got duck and cover, and they've got Formosa, and they've got Truman, yeah? Yeah. Duck and cover, Formosa, blockade, Romania, Truman. I got 5-year, Indo-Pakistani, Vietnam, and Fidel. I'll be looking to space Fidel. And I got in the reshuffle, NATO and UN intervention. So I'll be looking to UN intervention D-style at the very end of the turn. Playing Vietnam revolts as late as possible in the turn and spacing Fidel. If I space successfully, obviously I'll capture Nazi for the 2-0. Or what I might do is try to space. If it fails, event capture Nazi to space again. But first, Indo-Pakistani war, get some mill-ops, hope to flip India. Before Burma gets taken. So that's my headline. They're unlikely to headline duck and cover. They want to get their mill-ops and get coup targets in. But you never know. I thought they'd get the jump on me. Blockade is another option, in which case D-Star gets blockaded away. And I can use UN intervention on Fidel or similar. Or I could try and hold UN intervention through the turn in case We Will Bury You comes out in turn 4. If Formosa resolution drops, there's a meaningful chance to try and dominate Asia. So Comecon just overprotects a few countries. It doesn't flip domination immediately, and obviously with presence in the other 3 stab battlegrounds, Benelux, Denmark, I can try and stay ahead in Europe if we think there's going to be an influence race. And because of the way it's laid out, it doesn't imply there's going to be. Because you'd have put them in the other states. Nah, misses. Worth a try. Not too bothered. So I would expect to see here a coup on Libya to get access back into the Middle East. Or Panama, but obviously I've put some influence in Costa Rica so I can try and sneak back in if I need to. I'd say Libya's the most obvious target. What we might see is an influence play with duck and cover. One into Burma, or try and flip Laos. But I'm waiting to see Formosa resolution get evented before I start doing silly things in Taiwan and Japan. What you don't want to do is put 3 ops into Taiwan and they space away Formosa resolution, because that's a complete waste of tempo. But yeah, expect to see a Libya coup here. Now we've seen another one on their cards, so we know 5 of the 7. We're waiting to see what the other 2 are. And if they're 4 op cards, we're likely to see them sooner in the turn than later. Great. Warsaw Pact. So now, Egypt rather than Libya. Okay, the result's more or less the same. So with Warsaw Pact gone, I can now move into Yugoslavia to defend against brush war. So what we'll do is we will continue to shake up the Middle East using NATO. Now, they've only got 1 remaining card if they don't use the China card to faff around in Israel. So I'm relatively content at the moment. Spacing duck and cover, sensible. So we will space away Fidel. And we succeed too. So now we can event captured Nazi to get the 2-0 spot. which is very nice. And they are now in a position where they may have to play Formosa Resolution. Which suits us down to the ground. So we'll now be looking to hold you an intervention, give up D-Style to blockade if we have to. If we don't have to, use UNI. Okay, so that's nice, unless he taps the UK. So just adds another battleground. We'll pop another one in Benelux. And because we've not influenced domination just yet, we'll event captured Nazi to bag our 2 VP. We now know the rest of their hand. They've got Formosa, Blockade, Romanian Abdication, and Truman Doctrine. And they may hold one of them, but even if they event Truman Doctrine, I've got enough ops to take Denmark and Benelux. Although we know they're not holding a scoring card, so there's also that to bear in mind. I.e., do I do other stuff by virtue of the fact that I know their hand entirely? But that said, you know, I'm about 16 VP ahead of where the US likes to be at the end of turn 3, or, you know, likes to be there or better. So I can afford to rest on my laurels a little bit just now. I don't think eventing 5-year plan to try and pull out Truman or Formosa is a good move, so I'm not going to event 5-year plan. If they do event Formosa, splashing around. So we will take Formosa and hope to get US Japan off. And that also denies domination. So AR5 I'd expect to see event Romanian abdication here. And then I respond with Vietnam revolts to take Benelux. And probably top over Finland to make Truman Doctrine even less of an incentive. If they event blockade this turn, obviously I give up D-Style and I use UN intervention AR5, Vietnam revolts AR6. The good thing about Taiwan now is that obviously shuttle diplomacy comes into play in Asia as well. That would swing domination. And we still got US-Japan to be evented at some point. Becoming increasingly unplayable for Asia, for the USSR. Yeah, so I will respond. Because obviously if they try and exploit Vietnam revolts using the China card, I just do an intervention D-Style, recover it. So having the advantage of complete information here. So either they're using blockade to put 2 in, or Truman Doctrine, or they try using the China card and just get up to 3-3. Or 3-4. Okay, blockades me, so I give up D-Style. I'm okay with that. And I only have a measly 1 op left, which I will put in Malaysia to protect Thailand against brush war. So there goes your turn. He's holding Truman Doctrine through, and we're going into mid-war. Let's see how the mid-war deal shakes out. Yeah. God, I forgot how annoying the animations are. Blimey. So I get CIA, and it's probably worth, given the layout of the hammer, I've got Sadat here to clear Egypt, I've got Panama Canal to get into the Middle East, to South America. I can use Missile Envy if I see his complete hand, so now is a good time to use CIA. And I can coup on Algeria to try and get DEFCON down. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Finish with Brezhnev, obviously, and don't use one of these two cards and space the other. I can event and repair socialist governments if I have to. So worst case scenario, they headline "We will bury you," which is a bummer for me, but not a lot more than that. One small step. Portuguese and South Africa, yeah. Right, okay, there's my 9. So we'll event CIA and we'll get complete information. So yeah, we least want to see "We will bury you" here. Even Cuban Missile Crisis is at the end of the world because they then can't advance. And yeah, if we get a juicy missile envy target, we'll take it. If they don't use ABM too quickly, for example, we'll snag it. So let's see what shakes out in the turn 4 deal. We could even missile envy US Japan, which would secure domination. Okay. No, "We will bury you." We've got an Arab-Israeli war with a 1 in 6 chance of success. It fails. Okay, so Europe scoring is good for me. Quagmire is bad. Africa scoring I can deal with. So yeah, getting stuck in the Quag is really the worst thing that can happen to me this turn. So let's hope that doesn't happen. So they are holding. Europe scoring. Africa scoring. Quagmire. Grain sales. NORAD nuclear subs. Truman we knew about. And How I Learned. So we will take the coup on Algeria to drop DEFCON and to hopefully roll a 5 or a 6. But that's secondary. Okay, bonus. So now I can get into Angola and Zaire before they do. So what we want to see here is them to play NORAD in order to event it so they can then Quagmire me to cancel NORAD, but I can then event Missile Envy and take Quagmire without triggering the event. That is absolutely the dream here. So let's hope we see NORAD come first. Yeah. That's definitely our dream outcome here. If he does event Quagmire off the bat, then we stick South Africa and or Portuguese Empire in the trap. So, we've got a plan. And obviously we'll event Sadat at some point. So, yeah, if we can get ahead in Africa and or dominate, That would be ideal. It would probably be enough to get there as well. Africa Dom around 4 VP. I can't get there in space this turn, obviously. So yeah, other things to do this turn are absolutely event my 1-op cards to get access, and then use some of this influence to capitalize. Great! So we will event Missile Envy, stealing Quagmire. Leaving NORAD in play. And we'll coup Saharan states. And if we get a big enough coup, we can then try realigning on Algeria. We do not get a big enough one off, so the next job will be moving into Angola and Zaire. Bit of a bummer, but such is life. Because I expected to see a missile envy counter coup here. Yep, standard. But we get our Millops. So. Influence. Into Angola. Can I start a coup war elsewhere in a bid to cause trouble? Do I gain anything? Probably not. What we're going to do is make sure we have 3 battlegrounds. So I may give up some influence in Europe in order to maintain in Africa, because I can afford to do that knowing what they have. But the downside, the problem with Panama Canal return now, of course, is that well, they're holding Europe scoring, so I need to get them to do something about that first as well. I may choose not to event Sadat and keep my ops locked in for Africa. Yeah, not eventing Sadat might be the play here. Middle East is obviously less of a problem. He says less. I mean, Muslim Revolution, Iran plus Libya is death in the Middle East. So I need to try and dodge Muslim Revolution. But if they move into Nigeria, I'll use Sadat to take Zaire. First of all. Leave them to decide when to drop Europe scoring. And then I can use socialist governments for ops once Europe's scoring's dropped. Okay, so they just gave up on Africa. In which case I will now event Panama Canal returned and start developing in South America. Decided discretion was the better part of valor there. So, we will be looking to take Venezuela and Brazil at the end of the term with Brezhnev Doctrine. Space away one of these bad boys. Possibly now event Sadat with Africa scored. That seems to make sense. And wait for Europe scoring to drop before playing socialist governments to repair and or put operations points down. In the meantime, they have to space grain sales, use nuclear subs AR7, and how I learned for ops. because they now don't really want to raise DEFCON with NORAD viable. I've just realised the Haribo bag has share size on it, so if you want one, then technically I've shared. Well, that would be a sensible thing. Grain sales goes off to space. That's fine. Doesn't get there. That sucks. We'll space, see if we can get headline peaking, because we don't need to do anything drastically on the board. Yeah, we get there. NASA on full rations. It's just one of those games for Hawkon, right, where everything goes well for your opponent, and everything you try turns to dust. I bet you my best of one playoff will go like that. It's been a fun league, though. It's been nice to play players. There's been a good range of skills. Been some exciting games. Can't believe it started back in November, when coronavirus wasn't a thing. But there you go. So they have... sorry. Unless they use the China card, they have no way of dealing with Europe. Okay, so we Truman out Finland. With that op, the best thing to do is to try and realign Venezuela. Africa's scored. You're not going to affect Europe. Not going to affect Asia. Yeah. Trying a -1 realign on Venezuela is that op's best spend. Okay. Attacking a scored region is fine by me. We will event Sadat. Nice 4-op swing there. Obviously, if we now see nuclear subs, we can get a coup off. No, gives up on Europe scoring. So we will now play socialist governments, repair the damage, then use the ops efficiently. What we might do AR7 is tap North Korea to get Asia domination. So what did that come out of? Wasn't paying attention. Italy and Canada, yes. Okay, so we'll put 1 in Greece. We'll just put 1 in Italy to stop it being tapped. And we will put 1 in Venezuela. So AR7, I'd expect to see nuclear subs. Just to get it out the deck. But I've got my Millops. I'm headline peaking. I'll finish by putting 1 in Brazil and tapping North Korea for domination. And that way, yeah, Middle East or Asia scoring wins me the game. South America and Southeast Asia gets me a VP away. Yeah. So I'm in decent shape for turn 5. Pretty much the worst headline is Junta, where I don't see a scoring card in my favour. Or Junta or ABM. So I think the playoffs aren't until June, mid-June maybe, somewhere around there. Obviously, I'll film my games. They'll probably be against people I've played before. Probably against people I've lost to before. It'd be nice to get around to the best of threes, but we'll see. Other option is using how I learned. I mean, actually, eventing how I learned, bringing it to DEF CON 5 and just going mad next turn is another option they have. But I would event nuclear subs here and just spend the ops and not worry too much. Yep. Yeah, fine. I'm not worried about Africa, and Gulf States is only useful if OPEC pops up. Ye gods. So, we will tap Asia for Dom, and we'll pop one in Brazil. Brazil leaves a bit of a target, but, I've got Venezuela, and then, obviously Brush War is the big issue there, or ABM or Junta, but let's see if we get a scoring card in our favour. Because that's the big question. And I'm peeking. So we get South America scoring. So if we don't see Junta, we'll drop that. And then I can salt something for VPs, potentially. Duck and cover. Goes up to, yeah. So South America scoring, followed by salt for duck and cover. Game over. Because they've only got a 1 VP OPEC. We will bury you get some 3 VPs, actually. So there's still some outs to keep the game rolling. So let's see what they lead with. But South America scoring is definitely, with no Junta, South America scoring is my headline card to get the 3 VPs off the bat. So let's see what they've got. Not a bad deal. Nice to have Ask Not, but I don't have Lone Gunman, so I try and hold it through the turn. South America Salt. Cambridge 5, John Paul. Obviously I'd event. I'd event John Paul, obviously. And Nuclear Test Ban. So I'm Ops Rich, which is nice. None of the power cards, but Missile Ember's been and gone. So I get purged, but that's unlikely to come to much, given the circumstances. So I headline South America scoring, bag 3 VP. Then after an initial coup, to which I get a NORAD operation point, I can salt, duck and cover, which raises DEFCON to 4, so even if they coup, I get enough VP to go over the top. So that's my battle plan, which will only be marred by a We Will Bury You or a higher value OPEC. So the coup goes off. And we will pop one in Central America to claim domination there. And we will salt, duck and cover. So unless they now play a scoring card, and because DEFCON's 4 arms race doesn't trigger, which is nice. So yeah, they have to play We Will Bury You, to which I play duck and cover and it just washes. But yeah, We Will Bury You is the only card, because OPEC just scores 1 VP. any card other than OPEC. U2 instant doesn't do enough. Summit. At a -3. Yeah, that's not happening. -4, right? 1, 2, 3, -3. Yeah. Brush War doesn't do enough. Olympic Games? Yeah, Olympic Games would work. So there's a couple of gambits. Summit or Olympic Games, We Will Bury You are the big ones. But realistically, if they don't play that, they don't hold it because the game will be ending with my action round. So, now of course, if they play Olympic Games, I boycott, right? Defcon drops 1, they get 4 ops. I drop Defcon to 2 and win with Duck and Cover. So Olympic Games doesn't work either. We Will Bury You is their only card. Hope it doesn't do enough, yeah. And Arms Race doesn't meet the required mill-ops. Cool. We think there goes your ball game. Yeah, if he plays We Will Bury You, let's tease out the entire puzzle. If he plays We Will Bury You, we then play Nuclear Test Ban to get 1 VP against his 3 VP to drop to 17, and then we get Defcon down to 3 and event Duck and Cover to finish the game. So there is a way back even with, yeah. Alright, we will see how, oh, there we go. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. Yeah, what a muppet. It's the one card I knew that they held as well. Go figure. Well. Let's event Colonial Rearguard so we can take Zaire before any shenanigans happen. We'll break Burma. We'll pop 1 in Nigeria and 1 in one in the Philippines as well. Why not? Splash around. Yeah, well, more fool me. I will need to coup for some Millops. I've got a 50-50 chance of winning. I've got a 50-50 chance of winning if I space nuclear test ban, but I don't achieve as much as I would if I just played it for ops. So I'm inclined to play the game out. What I should be doing is popping 2 in Mexico to defend against liberation theology. Ooh, fancy. Where are you going? Middle East? Oh, okay. Sadly, with NORAD, that counts for naught. No. Well, yeah, why not? No, I could get realigned. Africa's scored. Focus on the unscored regions. Do practice what you preach. So we will use nuclear test ban. Continue to press North Korea. Ah, my async game is now starting to nag me. Apologies about that. It's very irritating. We will not press that button until this game is ended. Do not change that channel. Well, sorry for leading you into thinking this game was going to be over quicker. I mean, hopefully next term. Well, I'm likely to give up a VP with Cultural Revolution to get my mill ops. And I'll be playing Cambridge 5 as late in the turn as possible just to not give up additional information. I'll tell you what, arms race is now attractive for them. Got a bit of work to do still. Nice to have 3 NORAD triggers this turn. Getting to missile Envy Quagmire was a big swing there. Oh! Ouch! Whoops. Well, thank you for watching. Comments welcome. And I will see you in June-ish for the playoffs. And I hope you enjoyed the slightly smoother recording, because otherwise what's the point in buying this piece of plastic? Alright, thanks for watching. Ciao for now.